rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silent prayer or reflection. God bless our canine partners. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Jared, would you please take roll call?
Mr. Bekowski.
Here.
Mr. Ambrazia.
Here.
Ms. Filiaggi. Here. Mr. Fatulis.
Here.
Mr. Grisbeck.
Here.
Ms. Hallam. Mr. Klein. Mr. Macy.
Here.
Ms. Nacaretti-Chapkus.
Here.
Mr. Palmieri.
Here.
Mr. Palmacina.
Here.
Ms. Pritzio. Here. Mr. Walton.
Here.
President Katina.
Here.
At the moment, we have 12 members present.
We'll begin with proclamations/certificates. 13481-25.
A proclamation recognizing the retirement of K9 Woody from the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office, sponsored by Councilmember Nacaretti-Chapkus.
There's a lot of playing over here with a favorite toy. They're having lots of fun. Good evening, everyone. This is my pleasure to read these proclamations this evening. And to my fellow council members, I will apologize ahead of time for reading something that I thought was so appropriate. And I know we have a long meeting, but I'm going to read it anyway. It'll be fine. So this is something I found that was really appropriate. I have 42 teeth and can run in excess of 30 miles per hour. I have 220 million scent receptors in my nose. I will track a suspect from a crime scene. I will search a building for a hidden criminal. I will scale an 8-foot-high wall in pursuit of my quarry. I will find the stolen property that was hidden to be collected at a later date. I will chase down anyone who runs from me. My temperament is such that I must be calm and sociable when visiting schools. But in the same breath, I must be ready to take on those who threaten me and my handler. I will find the drugs that were hidden from me. I will locate the missing child who ran away from me. I must ignore all distractions and concentrate solely on my job. My handler is my world, and I know that I am his. All this I do with an unrelenting determination. I do this to please my handlers. Together, we are a team. If you hurt me, he will hurt you. If you hurt him, I am all that stands between you and the gates of somewhere down below. I am a police dog. So I have the pleasure of presenting two proclamations this evening for our retiring law enforcement personnel, so to speak, law enforcement canines. And the first one will be for Woody. There you are, buddy. And then Zeke. And when will we take pictures? Are we holding pictures till the end?
Yeah, we can take pictures right now.
Okay, all right. So there are two proclamations, and I will be honored to read both of these. A proclamation recognizing the retirement of K9 Woody. Whereas Allegheny County Council joins with the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office in celebrating a job well done for one of its canines, Woody, whose official retirement date was January 6, 2025, and his retirement was announced March 7th, 2025. I hope you've been having lots of fun in the meantime, Woody, and a well-deserved rest. Whereas K9 Woody is retiring after 8 years of work. He is 50% Belgian Malinois and 50% Shepherd, who joined the force with Deputy Eric Quatman in 2017. And whereas over the past 8 years, Woody's value to the office cannot be overstated, taking part in numerous fugitive squad arrests and using his elite training to sniff out weapons that were discarded following their use in violent crimes. And whereas of equal importance, Woody has been a wonderful ambassador for the work that the Sheriff's Office and their canine unit do each and every day. His participation in community outreach efforts over the years gave him the chance to meet thousands of residents, especially children, and the love and affection was always mutual. And whereas, with any beloved working dog, all staff considered Woody to be a member of the Sheriff's Office family. And whereas, while Woody ends his working days, he will live out his retirement years with Deputy Quatman and his family, where he will keep busy with daily 5-mile walks and much playtime with his former handler, his wife, their adult children, and his in-laws. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, Allegheny Council, and myself, Michelle Nacaretti-Chapkus, do hereby honor Canine Woody for unselfishly devoting his life to the preservation of order and the protection of others, and I praise his commitment and dedication and wish him continued years of health upon retirement. Congratulations, Woody. On cue, Woody says thank you. Good job, buddy.
I was wondering if he was going to give a speech.
It's all directed at you, Nick.
Is that true? He only barks when he smells marijuana?
Do them bundle them together, Pat?
Whatever you want to do.
What? Would you like to take a separate picture of the company, or do you want to do individual ones? Yeah, I'll read his first. Okay, next. We'll do them together then. Let me give you, I'm going to give you the proclamation, though, so I don't.
So the next one is actually 13518-25, Jared.
That's a proclamation recognizing the retirement of K9 Zeke from the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office, also sponsored by Councilmember Nacaretti-Chapkus.
All right, Zeke, where are you, buddy? There, oh, he's in the back. Here he comes. Okay. He's wondering why his buddy's barking. All right, I'll read Zeke's while they get themselves situated. This is a proclamation also recognizing the retirement of Canine Zeke. Whereas Allegheny County Council joins with the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office in celebrating a job well done for one of its canines, Zeke, who retired Friday, March 28, 2025, after a 7-year career. And whereas born in Budapest, Hungary in March 2017, Canine Zeke came to the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office in 2018 after his training at the City of Pittsburgh Police Department Canine Academy. And whereas Zeke was designated Region 13 Canine early on, and with that designation, Deputy Pete Perrier and Zeke responded to calls in 8 different counties over the past 7 years. And whereas his specialized bomb detection training kept him busy responding to bomb threats as schools and other facilities and taking part in multiple gun searches, recovering several weapons in the process. And whereas of equal importance, Zeke also has been a wonderful ambassador for the work that the Sheriff's Office and their canine unit do each day. He, too, participated in community outreach events over the years, giving him the chance to meet thousands of residents, especially children as well, for the love and affection was always mutual. And whereas with any beloved working dog, all staff considered Zeke to also be a member of the Sheriff's Office family. And whereas to know that Zeke and Deputy Perrier worked, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, is that correct? No, it's not. It's Perrier. Perrier, thank you. And Deputy Perrier worked not only on behalf of the citizens of Allegheny County, but also throughout southwestern PA, is a testament to their skills as a team and a validation of the crucial role that canines play in this office and throughout law enforcement. And whereas while Zeke ends his working days, he too will live out his retirement years with the deputy and his family, where he will keep busy with daily walks, long naps, and belly rubs, Zeke. Now therefore be it resolved that we, Allegheny Council, do hereby honor Canine Zeke for unselfishly devoting his life to the preservation of order and the protection of others. And I praise his commitment and dedication and wish him, too, continued years of health upon his retirement. Way to go, Zeke. It's the clap. Thank you. Should we go up and get pictures? Where's your buddy Woody? Let's go get it. Are you ready now? Come on. Let's go.
Can you guys push a little bit? Thank you.
There we go.
Cool. Right here. Hey, everybody. Okay. Ready? Okay. Gotcha.
Got lots of treats. Come on. It's working.
Awesome.
13519-25.
Before proceeding, please let the record reflect that Mr. Klein is now present. 13519-25 is a proclamation recognizing Plum High School student Owen Proskin upon winning the pentathlon at the 2025 Nike Indoor National Championship, sponsored by Councilmember Nakaradi Chapkus.
Is this fun? Owen Proskin. I am so excited to be able to read his proclamation this evening. After I saw this information in the news, I reached out to the family and said, would you do this? We'd like the rest of the county to know about this amazing accomplishment. Wait till you hear. Whereas the 2025 Nike Indoor Nationals took place at the Armory Track and Field Center in New York City from March 13th through the 16th, 2025, and featured high school track and field athletes. And whereas Plum High School junior Owen Proskin won the pentathlon at the 2025 Nike Indoor National Championship. Whereas track and field have a wide range of events in which people can specialize, from short distance running, such as the 100 and 200 meter sprints, to field events in shot put, javelin, and others where the competition is always tough. And whereas when it comes to the epitome of track and field events, the pentathlon and decathlon, what a word. That's a tricky one, it's a mouthful, are perhaps the truest measure of athletic skills, requiring the ability to master 5 to 10 events. Becoming a champion in this sport is a true test of versatility. And whereas competing against athletes from multiple states in the pentathlon, Owen began the chase for the gold in All-American honors with a second-place finish in the 60-meter hurdles. He held second place after a strong effort in the long jump. It then came time for the shot put, but Owen managed to close the gap towards first place despite finishing 6th. And whereas down the stretch, Owen began his push towards first, coming up clutch and winning the high jump. With a 200-point lead heading into the final event, Owen maintained his lead by finishing 6th in the 1,000-meter run, winning the gold medal and becoming a national champion and All-American in the process. And whereas a multi-sport standout, Owen always enjoys the strategy that comes with competing in the pentathlon. He also hopes to use the momentum to a strong outdoor season. And whereas Owen has the benefit of his father, Matt Proskin, being his head coach. The elder Proskin said his son's success is a direct result of having a good plan and states, every day, Owen is working on various aspects of each sport. It's been very rewarding to see it all come together for him. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Allegheny County Council Member Michelle Nacarati Chapkus, do hereby congratulate Owen Proskin on winning the gold medal and national title in pentathlon at the 2025 Nike Indoor National Championship. And I commend him for bringing lasting fame and recognition to Allegheny County through his athletic achievements, which serves as an inspiration to us all. Congratulations.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to the council for having me here today for this honor. I'm deeply honored and sincerely grateful to the county and council for presenting me with this special proclamation. Your recognition means so much to me, and I truly appreciate your support and acknowledgement of all my efforts competing at the national level. I also wanted to thank Michelle Chapkus for this recognition and my community Plum for the support. I can't wait to continue to represent our county as I compete in the future. Thank you.
Okay, well, wait. Mom's saying he brought his medal, so we're gonna let's see the medal. We want to pull it out. Let's get it. Moms always keep us prepared. All right, let's put it on. Yeah, let's put it on and see it. Nice. Yeah. I'll give this to you to hold.
Thank you.
Do you want to light the thing we have to get a picture with? No, they'll come and take it.
You want to come up?
Okay. All right. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Dad.
13520-25.
Before proceeding, please let the record reflect that Ms. Hallam is now present. 13520-25, a proclamation recognizing Augie Carlino for his unwavering commitment to the communities of Allegheny County and southwestern Pennsylvania as the president and CEO of Rivers of Steel Heritage Corporation, sponsored by Councilmember Macy.
Well, thank you for the introduction. For Augie, would you come up, please? I can call him Augie. His name's August, but if you're his friend, you can call him Augie. Mary Wynn Murrin, please come up. The new president and CEO of the Steel Rivers Heritage Corporation. I would just like to say, being a fourth-generation steelworker before they closed my mill down, and I do have a son who is the fifth generation who works in the steel industry, who works at Clairton Works. I think it's important, like everything else in history, that we recognize what our steel industry has done for this region, for this state, for this country, and for the world. And to have the Steel Rivers Heritage Corporation still alive and well and doing better every day, it's a testament to what we've done in this country. And we should never, ever forget it. Excuse me one moment. Whereas August Augie Carlino served as the president and chief executive officer of the Rivers of Steel Heritage Corporation from its founding until his retirement in March 2025. Mr. Carlino fundamentally changed how the region viewed its industrial legacy, not as a relic of the past, but as a foundation for economic renewal and pride. His work focused especially on former steel and coal communities in the Mon Valley, helping them transition into new futures while honoring their deep roots. And whereas during 35 years of leadership, Mr. Carlino established Rivers of Steel as a national heritage area recognized globally for preserving and commemorating Western Pennsylvania's natural and shared resources and strengthening the region's economic and cultural fabric through community partnerships and transformative experiences. Rivers of Steel preserved and interpreted some of the region's most iconic industrial sites, the Cary Blast Furnaces, the Boast Building, and the Battle of Homestead site. And whereas under Mr. Carlino's leadership, Rivers of Steel received state and national awards and recognition. In 1997, Pennsylvania Governor Tom Ridge named him to serve on the Pennsylvania Greenways Commission. And in 2010, Governor Ed Rundell inducted him into the Pennsylvania Heritage Hall of Fame. In 2018, he was named one of the Pittsburgh's top 50 business leaders by Smart Business Magazine and one of Pittsburgh's most transformative leaders by the Claude Worthington Benedum Foundation. Whereas in 1991, he helped organize the Pennsylvania Heritage Parks Association and served as president of the group from 1994 to the year 2000. He also helped organize the Alliance of National Heritage Areas in 1997 and served as chairperson of this national organization from 2000 to 2006. From 2006 to 2016, Mr. Carlino served as the chair of the Advocacy Committee for the ANHA and chaired the committee that worked with the National Park Service to develop the current evaluation model and system assessing the effectiveness of individual national heritage areas. And whereas in 1998, Mr. Carlino was invited by President Bill Clinton to appear at the White House ceremony to deliver the keynote speech on the importance of America's rivers in community revitalization and economic development. In 2000, he was awarded the Senator H.J. John Hines Award for Distinguished Community Service, and in 2002, President George W. Bush named him to serve on a select presidential committee on the U.S. Department of Interior, overseeing the future role of the National Park Service, working with partners and community organizations on cultural, history, and heritage. And whereas along with having served on the boards of community and nonprofit organizations in Pittsburgh, Mr. Carlino is a guest lecturer, leading discussions on heritage conservation, political advocacy, sustainable development, community revitalization, and brownfield development at Harvard University's Graduate School of Design, the University of Pittsburgh, Carnegie Mellon University, Duquesne University, and the University of Chicago. Now therefore be it resolved that Allegheny County Council does hereby recognize Augie Carlino for his unwavering dedication and commitment to the communities of Allegheny County and southwestern Pennsylvania as the president and CEO of the Rivers of Steel National and State Heritage Area. Congratulations. Please.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I didn't write that, but thank you, Councilman.
I didn't write it either,
Okay. Yeah, I wonder who wrote that.
but I meant every word of it.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you. Mr. President, council members, appreciate the incredible honor to be recognized by the Allegheny County Council for a job that I did for 35 years, but it never was a job in the sense of work, because in working with folks like Councilman Macy and others, Lauren Connolly, County Economic Development, so many other people throughout the region. You know, I've come to realize that I stand here getting an award, but there's so many people behind the work that we do that it's actually a testament to them all for the work that we've accomplished. In 1990, you know what this region was like. We faced a cataclysmic change in socio and economic times, and old steel mills standing were seen as detriments and impediments to development. So coming into the Mon Valley and coming into places like Homestead to say we should save a part of one as a testament to folks like the councilmen who worked there and all the generations before, wasn't met with much enthusiasm. We were seen as obstacles to development, whereas what we wanted to do was make sure that development recognized those generations of people that came before. And today we have that, and I'm happy to say that with your help, with state and local and federal government's help, with the foundation's help. Carrie Furnace stands in Swissvale and Rankin as a testament to the generations of people, generations whose voices would have been lost if we allowed them to be bulldozed. But with your support of our work, it was never to be. And we're very proud of that, and we appreciate your support, and thank you for that. What we have at Carrie Furnaces and with the Rivers of Steel National Heritage Area is truly an international destination. And we're seeing that more and more and more each year. As more people come to the region, as more people come to visit Carrie Furnaces, they spend money in old industrial communities that are on the rebound. These communities were left behind in the economic change, but with your help with us, we made sure they weren't forgotten. So it's a great honor to be here with you and to accept this award, and I'm quite humbled and at a loss for words. You know, I retired a month ago. Usually this would roll off the tongue quite easily, but I find myself stumbling right now, more because of just overwhelming appreciation for your recognition for me. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Mary Wynn Murrin, who now is the president and CEO of Steel Rivers of Steel Heritage Corporation.
Well, as you can see, it's going to be a big task to continue Augie's legacy. I won't take a lot of time because when I retire in 35 years, you can all come here and listen to my legacy. But I do, I'm so honored. I've lived in Houston, Texas for the last 7 years and was so glad to come back home. My grandfather on my mom's side was a coal miner in New Kensington. My dad's family were farmers in Butler. And I have a great respect for the resources that are in our ground and in our mountains and made us the organization or the region we are today. I heard in my first couple weeks at Rivers of Steel, somebody refer to this region as the Silicon Valley of the United States in the 19th century. And so I'm really excited to continue what has been innovation and a culture of hard work for hundreds of years for the next generation. So congratulations to Augie, and I'm really honored to be here. Thank you.
Okay, standing with protocol, we're going to
Right. Okay, everybody ready? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thank you.
One 3521-25.
A proclamation recognizing Sherry Thomas as the 2025 Pennsylvania Small Business Person of the Year by the U.S. Small Business Administration, sponsored by Councilmember Paul Messina.
it all the time.
Good evening. Before I have Suzanne Filiaggi read the proclamation, as I hate reading, I just want to say a few words. One, I want to congratulate Sherry's mom and dad for being here, number one. Obviously, you raised a fine young woman, hardworking, dedicated. And I think I don't do this too often, but I got a phone call from Assistant Superintendent Vic Joseph, whose son, by the way, is two-time national champ wrestling at Penn State. I thought I'd throw that out there. But Sean called me. I saw Sean golfing, and it was the first time I met him, and he was telling me what was going on. And Sean goes, my wife is a small businesswoman of the year, and you could just see how proud he was of her. Like, not just how proud he was, but how much he loved her and how much he put into the company. And I think that's what meant the most to me, to be honest with you, because it was heartfelt. And then when he gave me the second call, I said, I will absolutely do it as long as you come down and you're here beside her, because I know how much you love her. And I can tell how nervous you are right now. You're walking around, you're pacing, but you should be part of this too, because you're right there side by side with her. So I want to congratulate you and your wife and your family, and I will have Councilwoman Filiaggi read it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm not a good golfer.
So thank you, Councilman Palmasina, and thank you for letting me second seat you on this one. But I am super honored to do this because I think you also understand that I am honored to help recognize a fellow female in the business arena. This is so incredible. It's an incredible opportunity. And Sherry, you have an incredible beginning, middle, and I'm sure there's no limit to the what else is next. But officially, we'll say, whereas Allegheny County and the Western Pennsylvania region take great pride in honoring individuals whose hard work, resilience, leadership, and service to others reflect the core values of our community, strengthen our economy, and inspire others. And whereas Sherry Thomas, a lifelong resident of Pittsburgh and founder of S.B. Thomas and Associates, has been named the 2025 Small Business Person of the Year for Pennsylvania. Incredible. By the U.S. Small Business Administration in recognition of her outstanding leadership, business success, and community engagement. And whereas raised in the Mount Washington neighborhood of the city of Pittsburgh by a hardworking blue-collar family, Sherry learned the values of determination and integrity from a young age. She became one of the first in her family to graduate college, earning a business degree from our beloved Duquesne University, my alum as well. And whereas Sherry utilized her federal contracting and construction management expertise to build her own business, SB Thomas, from the ground up, growing from a one-woman operation into a thriving construction management firm with a local, national, and international footprint. And whereas SB Thomas is a woman-owned and woman-led advisory construction management firm based right here in southwestern Pennsylvania that has delivered projects across multiple sectors, including higher education, K-12 schools, healthcare facilities, multifamily housing, and heavy highway construction. And whereas, beyond her professional accomplishments, Sherry is a tireless advocate for women and girls. Councilwoman Hallam is also a fan of that as well. And in construction and other things, serving as president of the Pittsburgh chapter of the National Association of Women in Construction, which launched Camp NAWIC, a free summer camp for girls to explore careers in construction. So officially now, therefore, be it resolved that Councilman Paul Palmasina and myself, and I'm sure the entire council, do hereby recognize Sherry Thomas as the 2025 U.S. Small Business Administration Small Business Person of the Year for Pennsylvania. Sherry Thomas embodies, quite clearly, the spirit of Allegheny County, leading with vision, mentoring with purpose, and building a legacy of excellence that uplifts our community and inspires future generations. Congratulations, and thank you very much.
So as Sherry's husband and business partner, I've had a front row seat in this incredible small business success story. And yesterday we were in DC and Sherry received the award at a ceremony. And when she walked across that stage and grabbed that award, I was right there in the front row again. And, you know, when you see someone that you love so much, that worked so hard for so long, to get, you know, rewarded in such a manner, and then also here today, it's really hard, you know, to even try to put the words together to, you know, to see how proud that I am. But there are 1.1 million small businesses in the state of Pennsylvania alone. So when you think about Sherry being named the Small Business Person of the Year, it's just, you know, tremendous. And, you know, we're Pittsburghers born and raised. We met as high school, when we were in high school, in our first jobs at Station Square. And, you know, we were teenagers. And, you know, that day I knew that Sherry was one in a million. And, you know, now all of you know it as well.
So thank you to County Council and especially Council members Paul Messina and Philly Agee for putting forth this proclamation recognizing our team at SP Thomas during National Small Business Week. I am deeply honored to stand before you as the recipient of the U.S. Small Business Administration's 2025 Small Business Person of the Year for the state of Pennsylvania. Yesterday, Sean mentioned I accepted the award in D.C., but being recognized back home where I was born and where SP Thomas was born is just so much better. So this is also a time to be grateful for those who helped make the award possible. Members of SP Thomas team are here today to share the celebration. This recognition is not just my own personal achievement, but a testament to the hard work and dedication that our team, because without them, this is not possible. I always said that we had the best team in southwestern Pennsylvania, and I would put us up against anyone, big or small. But this award is an affirmation that we have the best team in the state, not just southwestern Pennsylvania. So to our clients, like Allegheny County. Allegheny County is one of SP Thomas's biggest and most important clients. In 2018, Director Shanley of Allegheny County Department of Public Works took a chance on our small business. And we took that opportunity and we made the most of it through hard work and integrity. And we will forever be grateful for the chance to show you what we could do. Allegheny County's DEI program in support for women-owned businesses gave us a chance to compete for your work, and we are thankful that you chose us. To our friends, our lifelong friends that have supported us, like Vic Joseph, he's instrumental in this proclamation being given to us today. We thank you, Vic. To my family, just like SP Thomas, I was born and raised in Pittsburgh by hardworking parents. My father was a steel worker, and my mom worked for U.S. Air. My mom is here today with my stepfather, Larry, and this is a result of her support and all the sacrifices that she made so that I could follow my dreams, even though I wasn't sure what they were going to be. So thank you, Mom. To my husband and partner in this journey, as we work to grow this business, you have seen me at my best and at my worst. And you always reminded me that I can't be in the fight and manage the battle at the same time. And although I walked across the stage and accepted the award in DC, I could not have done it without you there with me. Thank you for all of your love and support. So starting a business is hard. Growing a business is hard. Sustaining a business is even harder. It's a risk. We put up our own money. We used our home as collateral. We high-fived when we made payroll. But in the end, it was all worth it. So thank you again to County Council, Council members Paul Messina and Philly Agee for recognizing SP Thomas, your homegrown small business, Pennsylvania Small Business of 2025.
All right. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thanks. Thank you.
13522-25.
A proclamation proclaiming May 4th through 10th, 2025 as National Correctional Employees Week in Allegheny County, sponsored by Councilmember Hallam.
She was off. You were wonderful. Congratulations.
Everybody. Does anybody object? I heard several members request to be added to this. Does anyone not want to be on this? So add everybody then, please. Thank you.
Lucky me. All right.
I know it looks like they're getting ready to take me to jail, but today they're not. We are here today to celebrate National Correctional Officer Employee Week. And so I think it's important that we start off acknowledging that it's not just corrections officers that work at a jail. It's not just medical staff that work at a jail. It takes a whole team of people from all different backgrounds. Corrections officers, sergeants, majors, captains, deputy wardens, a warden, the nurses, the doctors, the medical staff, the caseworkers, the administrators. All of these people come together to run a facility that houses nearly 2,000 adults, nearly 24 children, and they make it work. And anybody that knows me knows I don't necessarily love jails, right? And anybody that knows me knows that it's really the criminal punishment system as a whole that I just don't believe in. And I work every day towards making a world where we don't need those type of facilities anymore. But also every single day I wake up and I think about how lucky I am and we are in Allegheny County that this and their team are who we have running our jail here. Because I've been around for a little bit and I can tell you it has not always been this way. And I have not always been proud to stand up alongside the jail staff and say, this is our jail. But today I truly can. And I've been thinking about that over the past few months, how much has changed. Things that won't ever be quantified. How many people didn't die in the jail? How many people didn't end up with a life-altering illness or deformity of their body, things that we had seen in previous years, but not today. We are so lucky, and I don't think that these folks, and I know the rest of their team that's not here today, I know that they don't hear enough. How thankful I am, how thankful I know so many other people are. The stories I hear of people leaving jail today, while they're not all, sunshine and roses, are astronomically different than those that I heard just this time last year. And I recognize it when I see it. I know I throw enough shade your way, when I think it's warranted, but I don't enough recognize how truly thankful I am, how truly lucky we are. And, I sleep now at night after a jail oversight board meeting where I used to stay up all night cussing the former administration and, wishing for something different. Well, we got it. And thank you guys. And I hope you can pass that along to your teams that I know. I wish we could have filled up the whole gold room with all of them today because they all do deserve to get recognized. This proclamation goes out to every single person that works in that jail, the ones that are there for the right reasons, the ones that are there to do the most good and do no harm. I am truly thankful. So with that, a proclamation declaring 2025 Correctional Employees Week. Whereas on May 5th, 1984, President Ronald Reagan signed a proclamation declaring the first full week in May to be observed as National Correctional Employees Week. And whereas the Pennsylvania penal system originated in 1682 under the leadership of William Penn and became the leading force in the development of penology throughout the 19th century. Today, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has 23 state prisons, a training academy, 14 community correction centers, and 14 contract facilities, a motivational boot camp, 73 county prisons and jails, and 98 federal institutions. And whereas correctional employees have the difficult and often dangerous job of ensuring custody, safety, and well-being of incarcerated individuals, their position is essential to day-to-day operations of the institution, and without these individuals, it would be impossible to achieve institutional goals and successes. And whereas historically, correctional employees have been viewed as guards, however, in recent years, the duties of these employees has become increasingly complex and demanding. They serve admirably as administrators, corrections officers, counselors, treatment specialists, educators, clerical staff support, business administrators, purchasing agents, personnel and labor relations specialists, clergy, medical professionals, food service specialists, computer technicians, planners, research analysts, and skilled craftspeople. The professionalism, dedication, and courage exhibited by correctional employees throughout their demanding and often conflicting roles deserves absolute respect. And whereas, although each of these dedicated professionals works in a different field, and specializes in a specific area, all are committed to a common goal: the secure, safe, and humane operation of our Commonwealth's correctional facilities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Allegheny County Councilmember Bethany Hallam, do hereby proclaim May 4th through the 10th, 2025, as Correctional Employees Week in Allegheny County, and recognize and admire the service of all correctional employees at the Allegheny County Jail and the overall importance of this committed profession. And witness whereof, I have hereunto caused the seal of the County of Allegheny to be affixed this 6th day of May, 2025.
I'll be very brief. My name is Trevor Wingard. I'm the new warden at the facility. I'm just the lucky one who got to come in a few months ago and continue to move this facility forward. I can't thank the council enough, and specifically Councilmember Hallam. To our knowledge, this is the first time that we've ever been, anybody at that facility has been acknowledged like this. So we wanted to just say how tremendously proud we are that we were invited to come up here and do this. There's 850 people who work down there. I'm not sure everybody knows that. There's 150 volunteers down there. There's many, many other stakeholders that come in and out of that facility every day. That's thousands of people, mostly residents of this county, that work inside that facility. From the newest corrections officer to the most senior doctor, nurse, and everybody in between that Ms. Hallam mentioned, they're all your neighbors. They all work down there, and they don't get the recognition. They never have. Corrections is the part of the criminal justice system that, frankly, people don't always want to talk about or think about. And we understand why, but that doesn't make it right. Like a lot of law enforcement people, our people, specifically our corrections officers, they work long and hard hours. They miss a lot of stuff with their families. They do a lot of things that go unnoticed. And quite frankly, it's really good for this to happen tonight. We can't thank you enough. This team right here, I just get to watch. I just came in a few months ago and get to watch what all these folks are doing and leading that group down there and continuing to provide for this county. It's our reward every day, but being recognized like this is really, truly, we're thankful. And we can't say thank you enough. I appreciate it. Thank you. Say your name and position.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Chief Deputy Warden Lee Asla.
Connie Clark, Deputy Warden for Programs and Services.
Let's dance. Karen Kohler, Deputy Warden, Health Service Administrator.
Dwight Edwards, Major of the Guard.
Eric Entemeyer, Major of Security.
Jack Van Carey, Major Unit Management.
Fred Young, Deputy Warden of Operations. All right, everybody. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Get one more. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Thank you very
Thanks. Anytime. Thank you for coming.
When the warden said this, I said, you're shitting.
It was a joke. April Fools.
13523-25.
A proclamation commending Devin McDonald on receiving the Girl Scouts Gold Award, sponsored by Councilmember Pritzia.
Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you so much for coming, Devin. And this might be the last presented proclamation today, but not the least one. So this is a proclamation recognizing Devin McDonald, a Girl Scout Gold member. Whereas founded in 1912, Girl Scouts of the United States is the leading authority on girls' healthy development. Girl Scouts builds girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. The 3 million member organization serves girls from every corner of the United States and its territories. Girl Scouts of the United States also serves American girls and their classmates attending American or international schools overseas in 91 countries. Whereas the Gold Award is a national award with national standards that recognizes girls in grades 9 through 12 who demonstrate extraordinary leadership through sustainable and measurable take-action projects that address important community needs. Requirements for the award include prerequisites of bridge work, Girl Scouts journeys, and other take-action projects, as well as suggested minimum 80 hours to complete the necessary steps. Fewer than 6% of the Girl Scouts usually earn the Gold Award. Whereas Girl Scouts of Western Pennsylvania awards O'Hara, PA resident and Fox Chapel area high school senior Devin McDonald the Girl Scout Gold Award, the highest award a Girl Scout can earn. By earning the award, Devin positions herself as a community leader, utilizing organization, communication, and citizenship skills that set her apart. She began her project April 2024, and her accomplishment will be celebrated this spring at a ceremony for new Gold Awards Girl Scouts in the GSWPA Council. And whereas, as a Girl Scout of 12 years and an advocate for mental health awareness, Devin developed a project focused on bringing essential mental health education to young people, a social emotional learning curriculum which provides children with the resources necessary to recognize and handle mental health issues. Children are often not taught about mental health until their teenage years. Her project is a step towards raising awareness and helping empower children to regulate their emotional well-being. Devin's project, Big Feelings Storytime, focuses on a curriculum of story times, discussions, activities, and take-home materials. She worked with several local Girl Scout troops and is setting up an annual program at the Laurie Ann West Community Center in O'Hara, and has shared her curriculum with 2 area schools and the Cooper Siegel Library in Fox Chapel. And whereas Devin will graduate from Fox Chapel Area High School in June of 2025, she is a National Merit Commended Scholar, co-president of both the mock trial and German clubs, competes on the diving and track teams, serves as an orchestra section leader of the second violin, and works as a lifeguard, part-time pool manager, and swim team assistant coach. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Allegheny County Council Councilmember Anita Prizio, do hereby commend Devin McDonald on receiving the Girl Scout Award. I congratulate her for her dedication, time, leadership, creativity, and efforts making this region better. And in witness whereof, I have hereon to cause the seal of the County of Allegheny to be affixed today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Councilwoman Prizio, for recognizing me for the completion of my Girl Scout Gold Award. This project was incredibly rewarding, and I'm deeply grateful for this recognition and look forward to continuing to pursue my interests in mental health and psychology in the future. Thank you.
Can you guys just scooch this way a little bit right in the middle? There we go. Okay. All right, guys. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Got it.
The remaining proclamations will be read into the record.
13524-25 is a proclamation declaring Monday, April 28, 2025 to be Workers' Memorial Day in Allegheny County, sponsored by Councilmember Paul Messina and all members of council. 13525-25 is a proclamation congratulating Austin Inks on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, sponsored by Councilmembers Nakaradi Chapkus and Macy. 13526-25 is a proclamation congratulating Landon Keeler on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, also sponsored by Councilmembers Nakaradi Chapkus and Macy. 13527-25 is a proclamation congratulating Sebastian Oda on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, also sponsored by Councilmembers Nakaradi Chapkus and Macy. 13528-25 is a proclamation recognizing Dr. Arlene Leffler for her myriad areas of public service to the residents and communities of Allegheny County, sponsored by Councilmember Fatulis. And 13529-25 is a proclamation celebrating Timothy Stevens on the occasion of his 80th birthday and his contributions to the city of Pittsburgh and beyond, sponsored by Councilmember Walton.
We'll now have public comment on agenda items.
We have several. First up is Renee Rosensteel.
Not here?
No.
Oh, there she is.
Good evening, council members, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Renee Rosensteel, and I'm a resident of Manchester Chateau. I live on Chateau Street, which will be part of the neighborhood that is closest and most impacted by the Esplanade project. I have lived there for more than 10 years. I'm here today to speak in full support of the Manchester Chateau Transit Revitalization Investment District, or the TRID, and urge you to vote for its approval. Since 2017, our community, led by Manchester Citizens Corporation, has been at the table hosting meetings year after year to ensure the development happens with us, not to us. In 2019, the city adopted our neighborhood plan, a community-driven vision focused on balance. For every market rate unit, we demand an affordable one, both for rent and for sale, and the TRID builds directly on that commitment. The process for planning throughout the years has been mindful and inclusive. City planners and outside professional consultants have been brought in. The philanthropic community has been aware of it. In short, the process has been transparent. I've been part of teams that flyered each residence in the neighborhood, inviting community members to take part in the planning process. I have sat through hours and hours of community engagement meetings. During these meetings, we engaged in important quality of life issues like equity, diversity, access to food, healthcare, transportation, and social issues, as well as infrastructure and green space. A All of these are components of a community benefits agreement are already in place. Affordable housing, job creation, food access, and green space are already embedded in enforceable city policy, the 2015 riverfront zoning, and the TRID itself. We are adding affordable housing units, especially in Chateau, where there are currently no residents. This is restoration with a focus on equity. But let me speak plainly about something else. A small group is pushing a very specific fear tactic that is confusing neighbors and distorting the actual works and plans. They're misleading residents to believe that this project does not support people. That's false. Do not let this project be held back by a few people without vision or resource.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next.
LaShawn Burton Falk.
Hi, good afternoon. I'll move quickly, so I'm going to read to keep it succinct. My name is LaShawn Burton Falk, and I am the Executive Director of Manchester Citizens Corp. I'm here today based on the TRID and to support that. This is not just a funding tool, but it's a culmination of years, vision, planning, collaboration in and with our community. Since 2017, MCC has held consistent meetings about the Esplanade and the future development along the riverfront. That work has been rooted in equity, transparency, and understanding. In 2019, that vision became policy with a formal adoption of the Neighborhood Comprehensive Plan. And built in that is affordability, connectivity, and balance. Our plan is not sitting on a shelf. It's being implemented actively across housing, mobility, economic development, food security, and culture. We've delivered more than 50 new affordable and market rate homes. Partnership with Northside organizations like Manchester Bidwell Corporation, Project Destiny, the Iota Phi chapter of Omega Psi-Phi Fraternity, Inc., and Astrobotic. We are also deepening investment from regional universities. Our work aligns with what the community asked for and what's happening now. The TRID is directly identified in the neighborhood plan. It is goal number 14, pages 111 through 117, as a core strategy for reinvestment, capturing new tax revenue from developments like the Esplanade. Those fund back into our streets, housing, jobs, and our people. This is not an outside idea. MCC co-funded the TRID study to ensure that this tool served the residents first. We're not displacing anyone. We're adding housing in Chateau where no residents live today. This plan has a one-to-one match of affordable and market rate. The riverfront rezoning of 2015 provides protections that would typically be addressed in a community benefits agreement. It includes affordable housing. It includes riverfront access and job creation. This moment is about restoration. Route 65, built decades ago, cut our neighborhood off from the river. Today, we're studying the future of that connectivity through the Reconnecting Communities program, which MCC and the city secured $1.4 million in federal funds. This initiative is called the Project 1965, which will restore looks at a post-barrier future that restores and brings a Black Wall Street potential and connects Manchester and Chateau again. So yes, the work is hard. Yes, it's long overdue, but make no mistake, this is the result of years of public planning, community engagement, and implementation. The TRID is the next chapter in that work. Please support. It's not waiting for equity. We're building it.
Next.
Next up is Linda Hansen.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for having us. My name is Linda Hansen. I've been a member of the Manchester community for 29 years. I'm with the Manchester Historic Society. I'm on the board of MCC, the Property Committee, and the Manchester Chateau RCO. I'm here to voice my support for the Manchester Chateau TRID, the Esplanade, and supporting and growing our community of Manchester. We started having community meetings around the project in 2017, and we adopted the Manchester Chateau Neighborhood Plan in 2019. It's been posted publicly on Manchester Citizens Corporation's website since that time and brought to life again in every pre- and post-COVID meeting Many were Zooms that we've had, and COVID did take a big chunk out of that time, but we continue to move forward. But it's really important to know that nothing is being taken away from Manchester. We need to be cautious of gentrification, and that's an ongoing issue that we've been working on for years in a majority-minority neighborhood like ours. But what is built into our 2019 neighborhood plan is a plan that MCC has been following. For every market rate unit developed, there will be an affordable one. Nothing is being taken from Manchester, but jobs, affordable housing, new opportunities, connection back to Manchester, to the river, they are all being added with this program. Chateau has no residents, no one is being displaced. We are building in residential opportunities, not pushing people out. The TRID using the Esplanade project dollars will benefit those in Manchester that live here now. It captures tax revenue from new development and reinvests in our community. That will give Manchester new resources for affordable housing, workforce development, small business, and amenities that we don't have now, and we did lose when Route 65 went up. It's a real issue. So I urge you to support the Manchester Chateau TRID as a commitment to growing our community. Let's approve the future that we've been trying to build for nearly a decade. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
Stephen Hansen.
Good evening, council members, and thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Steve Hansen. I'm a 41-year resident of Manchester. Here to say the spearmint rhino might not be happy about all this going on, but we are, and I want to add my small, solo, slightly off-key voice to the great community chorus in favor of the Esplanade project and the TRID proposal, specifically Manchester Citizens Corporation, which has been advocating for Manchester for 60 years, Manchester Historic Society, which has been advocating for Manchester for 25 years, and Manchester Neighbors, which has been advocating for Manchester for about a year now. In fact, Manchester Neighbors said it best at the City Planning Commission meeting on November 12, 2024, when a man speaking on behalf of Manchester Neighbors said, and I quote, "I am here representing Manchester Neighbors, and we have no objections to this development, none whatsoever. I'm here today. I have talked to the members of Manchester Neighbors, and they've asked me to express the sentiments that I've expressed, and more importantly than anything else, we have faith in the Pyatt firm to do the right thing in this neighborhood," end quote. In closing, I want to summon the spirit of Father Jack O'Malley, who came into Manchester at his nadir. He worked, my wife, her uncle as a priest was Father Jack's best friend. I worked with Father Jack on a number of projects. He was in our home many times. He saw how Manchester was developing, was very happy. He waged an ongoing battle for equity, opportunity, affordability, and dignity. He would see those efforts in the Esplanade project, which is coming to Manchester. He would be very happy. On behalf of him and on behalf of Reverend Jimmy Joe Robinson, who founded MCC and has been an incredibly important person in Manchester for the past 60 years, I urge you to reunite Manchester and Chateau, to support the Manchester Chateau TRID, and 64 years after the completion of Route 65 and the rape of Manchester and Chateau, to tear down this wall. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Roberta Baura.
Good evening. My name is Roberta Baura, and I am the proud Vice President of Manchester Neighbors. I am also the proud ex-Vice President of Manchester Citizens Corporation, where I served for 15 years with the President, Earl Coleman, and I did a lot of the footwork there. I did a lot of the remediation for Columbus Square. I helped build houses. I helped renovate houses. I've been in this for a long time. My family comes from South Carolina. They landed in Manchester in 1930. They had a small business. They owned a barbershop. And my 3 children went to school in Manchester. They went to Manchester, and they also my son went to Conroy. I'm here today because Manchester is truly divided between the two RCOs. I have over 300 names, people who signed the petition saying that they were not informed of all the meetings. They didn't know about it. They may have heard of one or two. I have over 300 names here. And so what I'm asking you today, councilmen, councilwomen, is to take your time on voting on the TRID. We met with James Reed a few times. He informed us that all of the meetings that they're claiming they had, that there are no minutes. Came from James Reed, that there's no proof of minutes, and that there is no money set aside yet for affordable housing. I think what we do is we get low-income housing, public housing, and affordable housing mixed up. So I'm here today to appeal to you to please take this into consideration. Think about if it was your neighborhood. Think about if this 750,000 or million or whatever it is was coming to your neighborhood. Wouldn't you want to have an impact on how it would affect you? Wouldn't you want to have a benefit plan in place? We're asking the developer to meet with us. He hasn't met with us yet. So until we can meet with the developer, please, I ask you not to vote on the TRID. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Stephen Mazza.
How you doing today? Good to see everybody. Once again, Steve Mazza, Eastern Atlantic States Regional Council Carpenters, Vice President of Pittsburgh Building Trades, Vice President of Allegheny County Labor Council. For us, this is about jobs. There's so many times, so many people in this city that don't understand construction, number one, and the small groups that come out, they stop construction. They stop area standard wages. They stop people from helping us build our pre-apprenticeship programs, like breaking the chains of poverty, intro into the trades, carpenter apprentice program. So what I believe, I'm for the project number one, but we have a developer here, we have a contractor that pay area standard wages. There's multiple jobs in the city of Pittsburgh that allow tax fraud, wage theft, exploited workforces, things that happen that don't support our local contractors, our local people every single day. I could take every single one in this room to these jobs and show you and prove to you what actually is happening out there in the construction industry. It's an industry issue. I understand that. It's not a union issue or non-union issue, but this is about jobs for our kids, giving people the opportunity to come out of the neighborhood, see light at the end of the tunnel. I'm from an underserved neighborhood, Sheridan. I was thrown out of my house. I come from a broken family. I get it. But people have to understand, it's not about one little thing. We have to understand to move this city forward. We have to build our tax base. 1% wage tax, 2% goes to the school district. Bring more people in, more businesses to grow this economy. We're struggling here in Pittsburgh. We're losing money every day. We're bleeding money and population every day. So this is what we have to consider. And I understand the issues on the other side. I've been in the Carpenters Union 35 years. I've worked all aspects of this. If it's not about us, it's about building the neighborhoods up, helping the people that need help. So I would appreciate if you vote for this thing. It's very important for us, for our economy and our people in this city, especially people in underserved neighborhoods. Thank you.
Sandra Hunter.
Good evening, council members. My name is Sandra Hunter, multiple small business owner, lifelong resident, 49 years of Manchester. I am an elected committee member in the 21st Ward, and I am also the communications director for Manchester Neighbors, a recognized community organization. I am here tonight to present critical and urgent concerns on behalf of the Manchester community. In my hand, petitions signed by over 300 Manchester residents, affirming that there has been insufficient and inadequate communication regarding the Esplanade project and also the Transit Revitalization Community District or TRID plan. Manchester Neighbors has appeared before City Council 3 times and has also appeared before Pittsburgh Public School Board 3 times as well. Despite these efforts, and now backed by the voices of over 300 signatories, it is clear that our concerns continue to be disregarded. The proposed adoption of these large-scale projects has moved forward without a community benefit agreement and without a community impact study. This deeply troubles Manchester residents and small business owners. We now stand at risk of losing Western Pennsylvania's most significant nationally registered Black historic district, a community that has been home to thousands of Black families in Manchester since the 1950s. We understand that our pleas may fall on deaf ears. You may choose to proceed with approval of these projects, perhaps influenced by the potential increase in tax revenue from $120,000, to hundreds and thousands of dollars. But I urge you to consider the cost. The cost is the continued displacement of Pittsburgh's Black residents. The city has already lost 13% of its Black population, and this vote threatens to accelerate that trend. We have requested multiple times to meet with the developer who promised the school board he would meet with us. To date, he has not. Tonight, we respectfully request that you delay your vote until the developer meets with more than 300 residents who signed this petition. Our voices matter, but more importantly, when it's time to vote, our votes matter as well. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. We had a late speaker sign up, Reggie Smith. Obviously, we have rules for the requirements for signups. They need to be made prior to the day, 5 p.m., prior to the day of the meeting. So at this point in time, normally I ask, does anyone object? So what I'm going to ask, does anyone object to waiving the rules to allow this speaker to speak? So go ahead.
There are actually 2. We got an email sign up as well today. First up is Daniel Holland.
Thank you. Dan Holland with the Center for African American Urban Studies and the Economy. I'm the fellow for this year. I've been studying and learning about Manchester since 1991. And I've written quite a bit about it as well. I have a book about it and numerous articles. This isn't the first time we've seen a large project there. 1958, the Chateau West redevelopment project was proposed for Manchester. At the time, the chateau didn't exist. It was to be revitalize the community through an industrial park. And at the time, Governor Lawrence, who had been the mayor for many years, said that this project would offer ample evidence that the growth and development of this area is assured. And in fact, less than a decade, more than 90 acres was redeveloped, and more than 900 families were removed from that area. It was the second largest urban redevelopment project in the city at the time. And their houses were demolished. The community lost their commercial district. Within a few years after that, within a decade or slightly more, the community, the redevelopment project was a net loss. A mini mall that had been constructed to serve Manchester residents failed, and the community, the Route 65, the Barford community, the community was had created more of a problem than it headed into to solve, and the community declined, the population declined. Residents fought back through a number of different strategies, but they're facing yet another big development project that also promises all these great things. So I just want to know, is history repeating itself? So I think you have a great opportunity to really make a better decision here to move forward with more caution and care and with more resident input than has been done in the past. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Last up is Reggie Smith.
At least like to have permission to
No?
add red.
You're on a non-agenda topic. Right? You're on a non-agenda topic. It'll be at the end of the meeting.
Good evening, everyone.
You got time.
I'm not going to make a big speech. I won't be long, but I just know been a 20-year resident of Manchester, and I've been at these meetings they say they weren't having. And Piatt has conducted itself with class. They explained the jobs, the program that they were going to put out. I am definitely supporting this project, and I don't need to be an overkill and say what the director has already said, but this project is going to be a boon for Manchester and the Chateau area, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. At this point in time, we'll now have approval of minutes 13530-25.
Motion to approve the minutes of the April 8th, 2025 regular meeting of council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Presentation of appointments 13517-25.
Approving and rectifying updated term end dates for 13419-25 Dr. Yulia Van to the Mental Health Intellectual Disability Advisory Board for a term to be effective through March 25th, 2028, and 13420-25 Vanessa Dodds to the Mental Health Intellectual Disability Advisory Board for a term to be effective through March 25th, 2028, sponsored by Councilmember Nakaradi Chapkus.
Member Nakaradi Chapkus?
Yes, President Katina, I'd like to make this motion, please.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Unfinished business. Committee on Economic Development and Housing for the second reading. 13474-25.
A resolution of the County of Allegheny agreeing to participate in a transit revitalization investment district plan for Phase 1 of the Manchester Chateau project and authorizing related agreements, sponsored by the Chief Executive.
Councilmember Bukowski.
The Committee on Economic Development and Job Creation met on April 24th and affirmatively recommended this motion to council. I make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there discussion? Go ahead.
Just since the elected representative who represents the north side is no longer with us, and since I represent the whole county, including the north side, and since I live in the north side, I felt compelled, to say something about this. Again, I live in the north side. I'm right up the street from Chateau, Manchester, and Woods Run. My parents spent their whole lives in the north side. My grandparents spent their whole lives in the north side. My great-grandparents literally came over on the boat and landed in the north side, okay? So even though I haven't spent my whole life there, I have been connected to it since my whole life and even before I was born. And I've spent a lot of time, folks have sent me stuff both for and against this, and I've spent a lot of time listening, look at who's talking on both sides, like make sure that there's people whose input has been heard. And the reality is, of course, we always want more conversations about it, right? We always want to be more involved than we are. I'm on council, and I can tell you I always want to be more involved in things than I'm ever invited to be involved in. But I know that there were some community meetings, and I know that we do have to vote on this tonight. This isn't a matter of can we do this later. The vote is before us tonight. It has come through the committee process. It has followed all the proper procedure, and it's here tonight. And so, I just want to talk a little bit about it, all that aside. So it's important to remember what the TRID does, right? Without the TRID, there is no money for the infrastructure we need. Without the infrastructure, there's no development. Without the development, there's no increase in tax revenue that we all know we need to fund our schools, which are falling apart, our bridges, which are in disrepair, our roads, our community in general, right? We need more tax revenue. It's the only way to do it, okay? That means either raising taxes or development. And I can tell you, having raised taxes, people don't like it when you do that. But when we develop, there's a way that we can do it, that we do it the right way, and we make sure everybody benefits from it. And so, I've looked over this proposal. It's expected that $18 million that the TRID is expecting to get in is going to be used to go towards financing housing in Manchester, on top of the new units that the development itself is going to have in it. I know more than anyone, spending a lot of time working with the homeless folks in and out, working with people who are housing insecure. We need more housing everywhere, all over the place, especially if we want community members who exist in these neighborhoods to be able to age in place, to be able to choose where they live. We need more housing to do that. And normally, when we see developments that come through here, I'm not a big fan of tax credits and discounts, just for development's sake. Normally, the benefits of a development are restricted to the immediate area of the development. But the best part about the TRID is that it brings those benefits all around, not just in the development, but throughout the community who is most impacted by this development. So to me, it feels like this is a win-win. I do not speak for all the Northside residents. I would be more than happy to the folks who came here tonight to circulate a letter amongst council and try to get other council members to ask the developers to have additional community conversations. I would be happy to host an additional town hall, but the reality is we need to vote tonight. And when I look at what's proposed, I'm going to be voting for it. But that offer does stand, that anyone who would like support to get more conversations with the developer, I will take it upon myself to help you schedule it, to find you a venue for it in the North Side, and to get my other fellow council members to sign on to a letter asking for more community conversations to happen. So if you're interested in that, I'm very down with that, but thank you.
Go ahead.
I recognize that this has been a contentious discussion among a host of organizations in the North Side. But I also recognize that I've known LaShawn for a while, and she's always operated in an honorable and forthright manner. I've had conversations with Councilman Lavelle, and he's supportive of this project. And having gone through a 14-year battle for redevelopment of the Lower Hill, I know the fights that have gone on and sat in the room and participated in those debates, those contentious debates. And I know that the community ultimately benefited and benefits daily from the development of the Lower Hill. I recognize that one of the previous speakers talked about people being forced out of Pittsburgh on a daily basis because they can't afford to live here. I think that this project is a true benefit because I know that the building trades are going to ensure that there's equity and employment of all segments of our community. And if we want to stop or reduce the displacement of people from the city of Pittsburgh, that people have to earn more money to stay here and afford to live a quality life. I support the building trades because, again, they're going to be the major workers on that project. Before Father Jack died, we were friends for a long time. And I'm the last recipient of the Father Jack O'Malley Award. I know how critical it is to be fair, to be equitable, to be responsible, and to stand up where needed. I understand that there's differing views and differing opinions and differing agendas. But in this instance, I'm supporting this project. This has been discussed for a number of years, almost a decade. And the time to move is now. And as a result, I'm voting yes.
Thank you. Anyone else? Here, Jack?
Just a couple of things very quickly to sort of recap some of the discussion that we had during the committee meeting. The site is largely a brownfield, which for me is one of my personal issues, that we recycle developable land and, That's what's happening here. The project also increases the river access, allowing for walking and biking trails, and it also dramatically increases the amount of green space and infrastructure for stormwater runoff retention and capture, which is certainly an issue in Allegheny County. Thirdly, this will become a regional asset. And during our committee meeting, I mentioned that this will be one of the places where we take people from out of town to show off our city and our region right after we take them to see the incline. And lastly, I've been in elected office for a decade now. Before that, I served on our local zoning hearing board. And I can only say that the Pyatt Group has been the most honorable, professional, straightforward, I mean, just an incredible group to work with, and the things that they've done for this city and this region are just remarkable, and I am wholeheartedly in support of this project.
Thank you. Anyone else? Jared, roll call vote.
On the motion to approve, Mr. Betkowski.
Yes.
Mr. Ambrosia.
Yes.
Ms. Filiaggi.
Yes.
Mr. Fatulis.
Yes.
Mr. Grisbeck.
Yes.
Ms. Hallam.
Yes.
Mr. Klein.
Yes.
Mr. Macy.
Yes.
Ms. Nacarati-Chapkus.
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri.
Yes.
Mr. Palmacina.
Yes.
Ms. Pritzio.
Yes.
Mr. Walton.
Yes.
President Katina.
Yes.
Ayes 14, no 0. The bill passes.
Thank you. Liaison reports. Anything for liaison reports this evening?
Ladies first.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I will make it quick. Today I had the honor of attending the America 250 Liberty Tree Planting event at Point State Park. And we all have opportunities to commemorate and see great things that go on in our county. This project was done in partnership with the PA Freemasons. And I wanted to acknowledge one of our own who was the main speaker, PJ Roop, who is with us every council meeting. And he was there as the Right Worshipful Senior Grand Warden of the Grand Lodge of PA Freemasons. Thank you for a wonderful opportunity to see America at its finest, helping us reimagine and renew our commitment to being Americans, and can't wait to see what happens in 2026. So thank you very much, and that was my liaison report.
Thank you. Councilman Macy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've been a firefighter for 36 years. And you've heard me speak on behalf of the firefighters in my district as well as Allegheny County. We've come up with programs to try to encourage younger people or even those people who are in transition to join a volunteer fire company and get a 2-year college education or learn a trade, all paid for. However, that doesn't seem to be enough. We have fire companies that are folding. We have volunteer fire companies that are merging. And in some cases, when they have a cash bash or a gun bash to raise money, it takes 2 or 3 volunteer fire companies to put on this event because they do not have enough people to man these events. There has been some discussions, and there's going to continue to be discussions across Allegheny County with regards to the plight of the volunteer fire departments. If you want to get involved, if you have anything you would like to do to help assist or learn more about it and come up with solutions, because you may end up with either a paid fire department or no fire department. So what we're doing right now, we're in a fact-finding mode. There's no decisions being made. We're in a fact-finding mode. The next meeting will be in Wilkins Township. What date is that, Pat?
29th.
May 29th.
May 29th, sorry. And we hope to move these meetings to other parts of the county so everybody gets involved and that other people have a say and get a better understanding of what's happening with their volunteer fire departments in Allegheny County. Thank you very much.
Mr. President?
Go ahead.
Allegheny County, this region, just experienced some horrific storms for the past week. And I fielded a number of calls from constituents and leaders in several municipalities. What I'm about to say is in no way intended to demean, disrespect, or attack city or county leadership. I believe that Duquesne Light did a yeoman's job in working and continuing to work, get people back online. However, many of the concerns that have been raised really are troubling. I think I'd like to ask if council and the executive's office could convene a series of hearings to assess what has taken place and to build a better plan of how to move forward. Because with climate change being what it is, this is not the last time that we're going to have these kinds of experiences. What I think we need to do is to ensure that better information sharing takes place, that there is a system that includes municipality leadership and regular reporting from the emergency management agency, along with some of the public utilities. And also part of that planning needs to have some system in place where we ensure that high priority communities like senior citizens, like folks with disabilities, are identified and that they are addressed, those challenges are addressed in a priority fashion. I think that what's taken place has been good, but we have to do better. We have to work to improve how we share information and address concerns that our constituents have, and ensure as best we can that we keep people safe and save lives wherever possible.
Mr. President, I support Mr. Walton. I'd like to work with you on that. But I'd also like to give a compliment to our president, Pat Katina, who I know worked tirelessly throughout this as well, working with various organizations. So thank you, Pat, for doing your work. Mr. Walton, I'm with you. I want to work with you on that one. The DLC, Duquesne Light, what they did was miraculous to many degrees, bringing in over 600, 800 workers from outside of their circuit to try to get our stuff restored. I know many people upon this dais who just recently got power. I lost part of my roof. I know Bethany lost a good bit by her as well. But the level of communication that was going out to our stakeholders was very much lacking. This is not a stab at our leadership as well, but there were political functions occurring while there was devastation occurring. I know personally I stopped all of that, and many others did as well. I know Michelle did and many others. They were focusing on the community, and they did it the right way. So, yeah, I think it's incumbent upon this body right here to put mechanisms in place, not to cast stones, but to support our leadership, to support our county executive in finding a way to create a communication protocol where everybody benefits.
Anyone else?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I'll just second much of what has been said, and do think that a postmortem of some kind is certainly warranted.
President Katina, I agree. I had talked with a couple of folks about a debrief of sorts, and I think that's exactly what our council member Walton is speaking of. I think that it's an opportunity for us, frankly, to hear from some of the people that are the emergency management coordinators in our communities as well as some of the council members. Those are some of the folks that I worked very closely with in community and acted as a liaison between what their needs were and the county needs. And I appreciate the responsiveness that the county had to my many texts and phone calls at all hours of the day. But I think it's an opportunity to learn from each other. And so I think that, the body of folks that we hear from probably has to grow just a bit because there were so many moving parts and so many people who had information to share in terms of where the needs are and where we can do better next time. It's an opportunity to learn. Thank you.
President Katina, if I can, I got my power back at 7 o'clock Sunday night. And all week long, all that I said to my wife was, it's not 20 degrees out. I mean, this sincerely could have been a mass casualty event. I mean, this is no joke. I mean, I really do applaud Councilman Walton and others who have cited that we really do need a postmortem. If something this severe had happened in the dead of winter, it sincerely would be a mass casualty event.
Councilman Palmestina?
Yes, I just want to say that I agree 100% with Councilman Walton. Duquesne Light did a tremendous job. I've worked in public works for 40 years, so I know more probably than most folks do. They think, hey, there's one tree out there, but when you have wires involved, it just takes on another beast. I think one of the problems is we have to look into having resources that are available when we have something like this. The weather has changed, obviously, more than we've ever seen before, but when something like this happens, there's other things that people don't realize when it comes to transformers. How many transformers can you get at one time? How many poles that were snapped? How many poles can you get in a quick period of time? And I want to thank the firemen, the policemen, Duquesne Light, all the union workers. But it always seems like for some reason, people always forget public works. You always hear about public safety, but for some reason, public works is not involved in that. And I ran the Mount Washington tornado. I ran the flood downtown. I ran half of Carnegie when Carnegie flooded. Until you see the devastation and how much is involved, it's hard to explain until you see it in person. When Broadhead and Ferrywood flooded, until I got there, I just couldn't believe what I was hearing on the radio. When Carnegie flooded, Pat, when I came down there, and I saw it was over the bridge. The policeman's car was on the bridge. So I think our residents were patient. I think that, like Councilman Walton said, we have to be more prepared when this happens. We have to support all the people, men and women that are out there, but we also have to be ready for the next time this comes. I think that, like Councilman said over there, Mike, you said that we need to have meetings and get ready and better communication, and I agree with you 100%. So, but I also want to thank everybody. I know the sheriffs are in the back, and they were out and about. We're lucky. We're lucky to have the support that we have, and I agree with everybody's comments tonight. Thank you.
County EMS too, and all the out-of-town folks who came in. There's so many people to thank.
Bethany?
I agree with everything that my colleague said. I just think we should be very careful talking about like post-mortem right now. There are still people without power. There are still people who haven't gotten their food replaced, whose fridges and freezers are empty. There are still people who like are running everything off generators or haven't been able to go to work. There's just still so much happening right now. I know that overwhelmingly the majority of the people who lost power and services have gotten it back. There's still trees blocking streets. Like, we are still very much in the crisis right now. I also want to shout out President Katina. I know when Churchill came calling, you were very willing to help them out. And there's still folks there without power today, but they were really grateful for that. So just want to keep the conversation in the yes, postmortem for sure, 100%. But right now there are still people in crisis. And I think we should be figuring out like how to support resources and support those people who are still dealing with that and trying to recover. So.
Councilmember Grisberg.
Seconding that from Councilman Hallam. I really want to hit home on the point from Councilman Walton about the importance of planning and communication. My fire department got as many calls in a 6-hour period as we normally get in a month, but we were able to quickly move through that backlog because we have existing protocols in place and we have good communication and a good way of notifying our members. And so we were able to immediately respond to that. It was very clear that there was not an overall plan in the area, whether it be Duquesne Light or maybe the county as a whole, to respond to this incident. And so the expedited nature of the response, whether it be from a resource capacity for folks who needed somewhere to throw away their food that had gone bad, right? So they didn't have raccoons or rats or whatever in their garbage. Things like that clearly weren't, the capacity wasn't there, and I think in the future it definitely needs to be.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Last Tuesday at 5:30, we saw a storm of unprecedented capacity in my lifetime. I've lived through lots of natural events. I lived through the flooding of Ivan in 2004 and witnessed the devastation that brought on. Our 911 center went through approximately 5,600 calls in a 1-hour time frame. That's unprecedented. That's the largest call volume ever. The second is the Liberty Bridge incident when the Liberty Bridge caught on fire. Needless to say, there needs to be an investigation at some point in time as to how we better prepare for the future, because it will be happening again at some point. But I agree with Council Member Hallam at this point in time. We are still very much in crisis mode. There are still people without power. There are people that are hungry. There are roads still blocked. There are power lines still down. There will be an investigation, and there will be, I agree with Councilman Walton, we need to do something, but at this point, we need to make sure the here and now is taken care of. And until we can do that, I don't entertain any motions to investigation. I want to help the people now and get boots on the ground now for the people that need it the most. And there are a lot of them at this point in time. So, but like I said, Councilman Walton, I appreciate that. And actually, I've already been moving forwards with that with Chief Brown. It's been a long week talking to Chief Brown, sick of me, I think, at this point, for all of the calls that I've made to him and trying to keep everyone here updated with the updates from Duquesne Light and First Energy, because even though Duquesne Light serves the majority of the county, First Energy does serve a lot of big communities out there. And early on, there was no mention of First Energy, even though a majority of their residents were out as well. So we do need to take this on at some point in time, but we need to, like I said, work for the now, take care of the people that need it the most now, and make sure that they're getting taken care of. So at this point in time, we'll move on to—
President Katina, may
Go
I
ahead.
say one more thing? So moving on to a happier conversation. I just wanted to acknowledge that this week, in addition to all of the wonderful acknowledgments that we had earlier in the meeting, this is also a week of recognition for other professions, and I just wanted people to know that there are other everyday heroes that are being honored this week. So this week is National Nurses Week and also National Teacher Appreciation Week, and so I just wanted to acknowledge that so that everybody knew that we appreciate those professions and all the hard work that they do across Allegheny County. Thank you.
Thank you. New business ordinances resolutions, 13531-25.
An ordinance of the County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, authorizing the grant of a temporary license agreement to Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership for the purpose of staging a food festival and related activities on the Andrew Warhol Bridge, to be known as Picklesburg, through Monday, July 7th, 2025, beginning at 9 a.m., and Tuesday, July 15th, 2025, sponsored by the Chief Executive.
That will go to Committee on Parks, 13532-25.
An ordinance of the County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, to allow Hershey Production, LLC, to use certain county-owned real and personal property in connection with filming a motion picture, sponsored by the Chief Executive.
That will go to the Committee on Parks as well. There are no new business. Notifications of contracts, 13533-25.
Communication summarizing approved executive actions for the month of April 2025.
Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Any public comment on general items?
We have three. First up is Brendan Wissinger.
Not here.
Next up is Edward Wren.
That's here.
Aye.
You may be sick of seeing me here. Again, I'm here to, in favor of the resolution to increase fees on polluting facilities because I feel that it's my duty as a physician to do so. To understand better what it's like to live in an environmental sacrifice zone, I would like for as many of you as possible to go on a toxic tour of the Mon Valley, which I did last week. And I'll put details about how to arrange that in my written testimony to follow. I think that opponents of the resolution are using weak and sometimes disingenuous arguments against it. One is that we need more information. Well, I hope that you will get it. However, this sort of argument can be used to delay or stop resolutions that can save lives. Two, that it's not fair to punish companies who are not breaking the law by having them pay more for permits. This concern should not stand in the way of passage for two reasons, at least. One is that virtually continuous subthreshold pollution may be more harmful in chronic illnesses than times when thresholds are exceeded. For many air pollutants, including benzene, there are no safe levels. B is that there are many other examples statewide and locally of permits and licenses being paid by businesses rather than all taxpayers. For example, there are professionals in 29 categories and certain other businesses and their employees who are affected by that. The third one is that we don't want to risk bankrupting polluting companies or causing them to move out of state. The fee increases, while large compared to current ones, are very small in comparison to profits. Proportionally, that would be like me moving to North Dakota because the 4-year driver's license renewal fee is only $15 instead of $39.50. The main reasons for companies lobbying against this resolution is to decrease the chance of being found guilty of breaking laws. The main reason that too many council members are balking may be that they are more concerned about a segment of powerful companies and their employees, almost half of which don't live in our county, than the greater good for the greatest number of residents in their districts and all of us. If so, it would be contrary to your responsibilities as elected representatives and would reflect badly on the entire body. Thanks for listening again.
Thanks,
See you next time.
Next. John Kenstowitz.
Where is that other plant? Narratives from frontline staff. We will be providing to you position papers on each of the 3 tools. A significant part of the papers will be narratives, statements in their own words from our correctional officers, sergeants, healthcare staff, spouses, and retired jail employees. Here is a sampling of what they are saying. This officer talks about how long a transport can take and the risk of injury without the restraint chair. And I quote, "I was called to intervene in a transport with a resident high on K2. Who jumped from the top tier on level 3 to the lower tier. The resident needed to be transported to medical 5, an observation cell. The resident was resisting transport. 5 officers had to physically grab him, maintain a hold, while the resident was thrashing his head back and forth and attempting to bite the officers providing the transport. The transport included exiting level 3, transporting down long hallways, using the elevator to get to level 5, and then transporting on 5 to an observation cell, taking about 20 minutes. This is always a concern about liability in penetrating the resident's physical space with grabbing and carrying a resident, resisting resident who is intent on biting you. With a restraint chair, the incident could have been completed in less than 5 minutes with no risk of injury to the resident or the officers or a risk of liability to the county or personal liability," end quote. This officer talks about the value of the restraint chair at intake as a protective measure to not only protect the resident and staff, but other residents as well, and the chair not being used as punishment. And I quote, "As for the restraint chair, it was used when I started here at the ACJ. We were trained on usage during the academy, and I was involved in using it a handful of times. I feel it's more of a safety device for both the incarcerated individual and us as COs. When people come into intake, we see them at their absolute worst. They are often irate, intoxicated on drugs or alcohol, or having a mental health crisis. The restraint chair gives them time to calm down or sober up. All too often, I've seen people banging their heads on the door in the intake department or inflicting other types of self-harm. They also become threatening or aggressive with other arrestees or more often COs. The restraint chair was a protective measure in which the individual at risk of harm was able to be separated and more closely monitored by staff and medical personnel. Not once did I see it used as a punitive measure." I'm down to 5 seconds, so I'm not going to start the next one. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
Can we smoke a cigarette before?
We're scheduled for Monday at 11. So